Hey, how the heck are you? And we're live. Welcome to the 1 a.m. showing of Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. I forgot what the hell I was watching for a second there. Jesus. It's 1 a.m. Central Time, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. You do the rest of the math conversions on your own. I'm kind of back to my BS where I'm watching some of my favorites of all time. I find them to be comforting. So stuff I've seen over and over again that I love and can ramble on for hours and hours seemingly about. This time will take less than 2 hours. So we're starting at 1. We'll wrap her up around 3. So we'll see who pops in the chat in the revolving door of friends that pop in. Speaking one, there's Mr. Bones. Hey, Mr. Bones, how the heck are you? Oh, now he says, eh. So maybe throughout the movie he'll just continually hey. So where was I? Hide Bones. So this is one I've seen a bajillion times. For those of you watching me on this live stream, I'm turning face the other way. I pulled the computer chair up a different one, so this is my usual view that when I'm doing the show with the glass partition behind me. So I thought it would add some suspense to it, like at any point somebody could come busting through one of those doors and attack me. So it's going to add a little bit of anxiety to the broadcast. Poontrek? No. I've seen 0 times. You've never seen Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan? You poor man. I'm going to be watching it on Max. I'm sure you can find it on whatever streaming sites you have. I also have a really dope double disc edition on DVD, and actually I own that on all formats. I have a VHS, a DVD, and a Blu-ray, which is basically just the same thing as the DVD set except upgraded. I've seen this one a million times, seemingly. It was a cable classic in the early 80s. Damn, it seems like Star Trek II was always on. And then when the special edition Blu-ray or DVD came out, there was commentary tracks and stuff. Oh, man, I watched this one over and over again. I'm not a big Star Trek guy, but we'll get into all that. The movie's got to start at some point. He says, Big Bear chased me. Never seen any Treks, not a Trekkie. Yeah, that's the thing. Out of all of them, in my opinion, this is really the only one you need to see. If you're kind of familiar with the show, or at least the characters, like who Mr. Spock is, or who Captain Kirk is, you can do this whole movie. You're good. But the other ones, they take you on a journey of character arcs and different, travels and travails and whatnot. So this one in particular is, in my opinion, the best. It's kind of hard to argue it's not. Hey, Rick's Horror is here. I love this movie. Welcome, Rick. I actually been enjoying the heck out of you on Instagram, dude. When your posts go by, always funny. You got like these, you do these awesome characters. If you guys aren't, you are a huge fan of the movie. I love that thing too. Watch all of them. Yeah, okay. I've seen them. I know that my wife's a Trekkie, but I'm not. Okay, so yeah, see, that's the consensus is Star Trek was always second tier to Star Wars my whole life, right? Like the Star Trek was like the kind of Doctor Who nerds. It was like one tier above them. But then after Disney, after the prequels, and then after Disney got Star Wars, it for sure became like just too much to keep track of. And then Star Trek kind of pulled even though people weren't really happy with the new films. I don't know. Folks are fickle. But this one in particular, I love. Ricardo Montalban he chews up the scenery, but he does it in this slow, captivating way. And like the whole movie, I'm just like, I need to learn how to talk like that. And also, he's been doing the hell out of some push-ups. So at any point, we can have the debate whether or not that's a fake chest or a real chest. Some people say it's prosthetic. Some people say it's just, diamond push-ups. So let's see here. Let's see what this thing is doing. Thanks. Yeah, Rick. Yeah, Rick's great. You're not following Rick's Horror Review, definitely check it out. I thought I was, and then I found, how sometimes on YouTube there's comments they hold for who knows why. Every now and then I have to go check those. It's like things that get marked as spam for some reason. So a bunch of my RoboCop ones were in there, and I noticed Rick had commented on one, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know Rick knew I was here. So I went to check on his page, and I wasn't subscribed to him either. So I'm one to talk. So I'm glad to have hooked up and got all that taken care of. Like I say, Rick's awesome. Have you seen Fanboys, LOL? No, I don't believe I did. I might have. Is that the one where they try to kidnap Kirk? I remember some road trip movie, watched some Star Trek people. My favorite one is Trekkies, or is it Trekkers? Trekkies, I think it is. And it's like a documentary and about a bunch of different folks who are like hardcore Star Trek fans. And there's like a woman who wears the next generation uniform to her job at the post office, and she just wears it every day like it's her military uniform, just because she wishes the world was a better place like Star Trek. And then they go to like conventions and they kind of just explain the whole Trekker phenomenon thing. Apparently Trekkie is like the N word for Trekkers. At least at one point it was. I think a Trekker became offensive, or Trekkie became offensive, and then they decided to go with Trekker. So I don't want to offend anybody. Rick was here. So was Brooks. And Echo's here, says, Khan! Yeah, that's, I think, arguably the most famous part in this movie is William Shatner's overacting. Although he does have a cold line at the end where he's like, here it comes, Khan. And he like actually underacts and does a perfect job. So, yeah, we can talk about that scene when it shows up. I know it's similar to Detroit Rock City. Star Wars fans trying to get to see Cadence is, one of the movies in the newer trilogy, and there's a funny Trekkie versus Star Wars train scenes. See, I kind of remember there was like I don't know why I equated it to Road Trip or something, but I remember like some folks. But there's a one where they kidnapped George Lucas, isn't there? I don't know. Oh, hey, our buddy Russell is here. I bet Russell's a Trekker or a Trekkie or whatever the preferred nomenclature is. Advanced screening. Yeah, I figured that much. So anyways, it's 107. We'll get started with this movie. So my rambling can actually have a purpose instead of just aimless as it currently is. Where is my remote control? Curse you, technology. All right. I'm going to be watching this on Max, formerly HBO Max, in case you were confused. It's I don't know. I think they might have all the Star Trek movies. I'm not totally sure, but well, let's see. We can see the you. Oh, yeah, they do. I checked the you may also like and get an avalanche of tribbles on me there, boy. Star Trek 3, The Search for Star. Yeah, they're all here. The whole collection. The gang's all here. So yeah, if you're a Trek person, you want to see all of them, they're on Max. But I'm going to go ahead and press play now. Got the little spinny thing. There's HBO Fanfare plays, and we're up and running. All right, let me get comfortable here. Pardon the earthquake. Like I said, part of the suspense of this show will be whether or not I'm attacked from someone from behind those doors. Maybe mystery guests will pop by. It'll be like Mr. Rogers or something. But here we'll do this intimate, like I'm telling you stuff in the theater. This was directed by Nicholas Myer. He wrote a book called The 7% Solution about Sherlock Holmes meeting Sigmund Freud. So that was a big hit, and he wanted to direct, and he couldn't get any directing jobs except for Star Trek II. And Star Trek II was a super devalued property because Star Trek I was super lame. I kind of like it because I like Star Trek, but it's like a 2001 kind of ripoff. It's very slow. It's supposed to be kind of like moody and edgy, and everything looks weird. The uniforms are weird. Kirk's hair is super weird. So then that first one came out, and a lot of folks were like, it's too boring. It's too slow. It's just a bunch of shots of the Enterprise. Jesus, I forgot the Enterprise. That shows you how much of a Star Trek fan I am. So by the time Star Trek II comes out, this is like a devalued property. Nobody really wants to do it. So this guy who couldn't get a directing job anywhere else takes it. He's also the guy that did The Day After Tomorrow. If you ever saw that movie, it was like a made-for-TV movie about what happens after the nuclear war. It's brutal. But it was like in the 80s, people were fascinated about how tragic our deaths would be during a nuclear war. So this is just some straight up credit scene, like slow stars and all the people in it. And there's a ton of stars in this. We'll get to each one as they pop up. All right, we see. Hey, Bones and Echo, Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah, I actually had a dog named Tribbles. It was a Shih Tzu. It was like a pile of fur. His people who owned him needed to get rid of him because they had a new baby and they didn't want the fur ball around the baby. So yeah, we inherited this dog Tribbles, and we were going to change its name, but I was like, I kind of dig Tribbles. Let's ride with it. So yeah, we had a white fluff ball dog. Firefly Funhouse, right? If I get some hand puppets pop in here. Russell says he also loves the Next Generation series and films. Yeah, I that's what I was saying. I kind of was explaining my love for Star Wars. Or Star Wars, there you go. See, where I was explaining my love for Star Trek. When I was a kid, my whole life, Star Wars was the cool thing. That's the one everybody wanted to watch. But then Star Trek kind of like built a cult following. And it, I always caught it like on TV, the old reruns in the middle of the night. And in the afternoons, they would always have Star Trek on. So I dug it because it was just sort of weird and quirky. And then when the movies came out, like I say, the first one's slow. The whole V'ger plot is kind of deep, I guess, where we sent out a probe and it becomes sentient and all this. But really, this one is the far superior film. This sets the costume tone for where they take it in the future. You know what I mean? Like this is what all the Next Generation uniforms kind of look like. The one from part one is like this kind of beach look. Everybody looks like they're in from California. Sorry, we're opening with the Kobayashi Maru. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of that. It's Lieutenant Savick, played by Kirstie Alley, is taking the Kobayashi Maru. It's a test that's the unwinnable situation. A captain is put in a place where they can't particularly solve it. There's no answer. But either way, your crew dies or whatever. So the only person who's ever beat it was Captain Kirk. So this is explaining what the Kobayashi Maru is by having this scene up front with these explosions and all the people on the crew die. And actually, this is kind of clever because word had leaked that in the second one, Leonard Nimoy didn't want to do anymore. He was like, I'm sick. The first one was bad. Nobody liked it. Now I'm going to do this second one because of my contract and everything. So kill me off. So a bunch of people knew Leonard Nimoy was probably going to get killed off in this movie because he had said it like all over on news reports, and he made a fuss about not wanting to do any more movies and stuff. So the movie opens with the Kobayashi Maru, and we see Spock get killed right away. So Nicholas Myer, the director, he says, basically that was just a trick to try to get people off his back. Like, see, that was all just a mistake and a lie. Internet rumor, no internet back then, but celebrity rag sheets, Entertainment Variety, and all that. So yeah, we see. There's Sulu and everybody. Like I was saying about Star Trek. I watched all the movies on cable at some point or another, and I kind of dug them. The second one is the best. A lot of people really love part 4. I don't know. I never really dug part 4. Actually, I'm a jerk. I like, what is it, part 5? The one where they take the Enterprise out to the edges of the Earth and try to meet God, or the edges of the universe, I should say. Yeah, that one's the one everybody else hates, and I'm like, that one's the coolest one. That's wild. I also liked later on when it came out, the Next Generation came out in like the, I don't know, late 80s or something, and it was a late night classic. It would always be on at 10 or 11 p.m. And I watched probably the whole series run of the Next Generation. One time I put it on Netflix to let it run through and check them all out. And I realized, man, I'd seen pretty much all of them. So now they do this awesome hero shot of Captain Kirk, where after the Savick fails the Kobayashi Maru, these doors open and there's this big white light, and Kirk emerges and the camera pushes in on him. Like, it's total set him up to be the big John Wayne hero star of this movie. Yeah, this one was on cable so many times when I was a kid, and it was a VHS popular, but I really fell in love with it when it came out on DVD, and I revisited it again. I forgot how much good stuff is in it. Let's see what's up with our friends in the chat here as I've been rambling on. Rick says, though, the scene where they give the Enterprise back to Kirk is classic. Yeah, there are fans of part 1, although it's like the same way Superman Returns. I don't know if you saw that one. Just as a bunch of shots of Superman flying, because you can tell Bryan Singer just sort of loved Superman flying up there. So there's all these like just Superman flying because we love that. And that's how Enterprise or the first Star Trek is to me. It's just they keep showing the Enterprise like we're really proud of this model. You guys are going to see it a bunch. Let's see here. I have a special edition of Star Trek 2 with added scenes. Now I can't find it. Yeah, I actually dig all that. There's a bunch of editions of Star Trek 2. I don't know if there was one with added scenes. I know there's a director's cut one. Maybe it is the extended version I have. The Tribbles, when they keep hitting William on the head and he looks at the camera. Yeah, he's kind of like, woo. Classic screwball, I tell you. Classic Academy exercise. Yeah, Rick knows. I have all the movies on Blu-ray, but I can't recall where I put my copy of Star Trek 2 Director's Cut. Yeah, like I say, that was one of my favorite Blu-ray or DVD double discs that I had. The rest of them are okay to me. You know what I mean? Like I like them. I've seen them all. What's the one? First Contact? Or no, is it Generations? Where where Kirk fights Malcolm McDowell? What's that one? And then by the time they got into, what was it, Nemesis? I think I had pretty much just tuned out all those Next Generation films. The one where Data, they have like the Borg Queen and Data like gets emotions and all that. That was a good one. See, that's the level of me knowing them. I watched I think I've seen all the Star Trek Next Generations. And then I saw a lot of Deep Space Nine. And then I watched like the first season of, what's the one with Voyager, Janeway, yeah. The Voyager show. And then by the time they got to Star Trek Enterprise and all that new stuff that's on CBS, yeah, I'm out at that point. Everything that's behind the Paramount paywall, I have not seen. I've only heard about from Red Letter Media. Jeez, that's a tongue twister. Where's my water? I always dig these parts of the Star Trek movies where they're on Earth and we see like how they think Earth looks in the future. You know what like Kirk has this like dope kind of San Francisco apartment thing where he's out looking on the bay and, you know, he's got all these things that a captain would have. Obviously, you would have a big ship in your house if you were a captain. It's like if I was a captain of a ship and I finally got to be on shore for a little bit, the last thing I'd want to see is a boat. But he's got like one of them little Galileo, what do you call it, where you figure out the stars and know to navigate by that. Yeah, a bunch of things from old ships, a lot of like brass lights. I'm really impressed by Kirk's antique boat collection. Oh, and he's got a bunch of dueling pistols too. Whoa, red flag, red flag. I'm feeling Bones' jacket. I have that same one. Let's see here. Greetings and salutations. Professor Macabro is here, ladies and gentlemen. The Final Frontiers. Yeah, that's the one where they take the space, the one to the edge of the galaxy. Because I always confuse it with the Undiscovered Country because it's kind of the same like idea, but that's the one with the trial and all that where they got a cool CGI murder scene at the beginning of that where people get shot and then the blood floats in the anti-grav. That was pretty cool. So yeah, Professor is here. I am half expecting a ghost to pass by those doors. Spooky. See, Professor gets it. That's me and you, buddy. That's actually what I said when I started this stream. Is normally I have those glass partitions behind me, and you can kind of see the reflections in movies and stuff. And I thought doing it this way, it would add this suspense of whether or not somebody might just come rushing in and get me, or a ghost might pop. Yeah, exactly. You get it. Wish I should have done this for The Conjuring or something, but I don't know. I might have to get mobile again. We'll see. Half here looking for a missing Blu-ray. Wrath of Khan reprises the role from Star Trek episode. Yeah. There was a original series episode with Ricardo Montalban. He played a Sikh, I guess, who like he's a superior mind. He was crafted by genetics to be like this, super genius guy. And him and Kirk battle wits basically, and then he banishes Khan off to this, planet out in the middle of nowhere, like a desert planet, Gulag or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, now they did the cool shot of Chekhov's ship, and we're getting ready to see when he lands on the. This is so. I'm getting ready to have a hot take, so don't go anywhere because there's going to be a hot take coming in a minute. Hey, Professor, the reboot shows how Kirk beat the test and how Spock reacted. Yeah, that's one of the secret reveals in this is Savick keeps wondering, well, how did you defeat the unwinnable situation, the Kobayashi Maru? And eventually we learn that Kirk is actually a cheater. He reprogrammed the computer so he could win. He doesn't believe in an unwinnable situation. Bites an apple. Watched all of Next Generation, all of Deep Space Nine, and all of Voyager. That got real good when 7 of 9 joined the crew. I should have known the professor would love some 7 of 9. Assimilate me, baby. If you like classic Star Trek, I think you'll like Strange New World. I'm not familiar with Strange New World. Also, when I was a kid, there was a Star Trek cartoon. There were all sorts of weird TV cartoons back then. There was like a Brady Bunch cartoon and the Planet of the Apes cartoon and just all these weird ones. So yeah, I've seen a bunch of those too, and they're just more adventures of the Star Trek crew. But even here's more how this movie just sets the tone for everything. We see this floating space station, and that's almost exactly what Deep Space Nine looks like. I feel like if there's one Star Trek movie you need to see to understand Star Trek, or even if you've never seen any of the shows, it's like, I think you can kind of watch this. If you know who Kirk, Spock, and Bones are, you're ready to roll. Now here's Paul Winfield. Paul Winfield is like the poor man's Morgan Freeman. He's awesome. Like every time he acts, he just is like steals the scene. He's got gravitas. But he also looks real sympathetic. Like his eyes look really sad all the time. So it's if times when he has to play a villain, they make him like sweaty and shaky because that's the only way those eyes work. Ricardo Montalban was in the Planet of the Apes film Escape. Yeah, I love that, where he's the circus owner or whatever that Caesar is born into or escapes or whatever. It's the last one. Or it's not the last one before that. Russell loves the Borg. Yeah, the Borgs were scary as hell to me. They're zombies, basically, robot zombies. They do the, add you to their horde thing. But yeah, for a great way to infuse some energy into that show, because prior to that, even like I saw all of them kind of like I saw Q and the whole Paradox thing, and I saw Tasha Yar dying, and all the classics. But when the Borg came along, that's when that stuff got real. That was a good story. So all this is super cool too. They do use the moon suits like they used in the first one, the space suits to go floating. Like there's a part where Spock is floating out over the V'ger or whatever, and they have these same kind of space suits while they're down here. So like I say, the guy that directed this was Nicholas Myer. He put out one of my favorite commentaries. For some reason, I've listened to that one more than anything. I find like his voice soothing or something. So I've seen this movie more times than I can remember just as the movie, and then several times as listening to the commentary. Let's see. Who else was it? Battle of the Wits with Kirk. Kirk uses no brain. Kirk uses his fists to win. Yeah, or he gets down with a sexy lady. Love playing level 3 level chess. Hard to play. Yeah, exactly. You go into 10 forward and having some Tranya. You ever see that one was that Clint Howard, a little baby dude, and he's drinking some Tranya. Planet of the Apes. In this twisted world, we don't spank the monkey spanks you. There's a new Macabro one. Macabro is killing it with these fake trailers. So what was it? Blind Furry? Was that today's one or whatever? He puts them on Instagram and on YouTube. I recommend subscribing to his YouTube. I tell people subscribe to Macabro every damn show. He's one of my faves. But yeah, Macabro, you are killing it with those fake trailers, dude. Keep doing those. Always funny. Pop quiz, hot shots. Who wins the Delta Quadrant Battle Royal, the Borg or the Dominion? Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm not even going to try to ponder that right now because we're getting ready to have the thing with the leeches in the ear. But we may come back to that. I'll think. I'm probably going to say Borg, but I'd like to be fair. I don't know. The Romulans with the cloaking device, I don't know how the Borg defeated them. It just seems like if you can hide at any point, but... So here we see that Chekhov realizes that he's discovered the Botany Bay on this, deserted moon planet. And that's a callback to what the name of the ship was that Khan and his crew went away on at the end of the episode from the original series. So it's funny, he realizes like, oh shit, I know what that is, and he quick puts on the helmet and they're like trying to get away. And this is cool as hell, where these like the Khan and his people come out of the sand and they're all like riding some, they're like all covered up like Grim Reapers, and they have like almost like Darth Maul masks and stuff. They look like super scary. Way better than the Tusken Raiders in Star Wars. There's one controversial hot take for you. Better Sand People, Star Trek 2. Yeah, before Macabro gets too far away, I'm going to go Borg. I can't go against Borg. I don't even understand how they ever defeated the Borg. I mean, I understand they've always had like computer virus or some shit, but it just seems like the Borg was just too much to overcome. I have a box set with the Planet of the Apes and a 1-hour DVD behind the scenes hosted by Roddy. Yeah, I dig. Yeah, that's total Darth. Not Darth Maul. What's his name? The one from the new one. See, that's how much I hated those movies. I can't remember what that guy's called. Adam Driver, whatever he's supposed to be. I already forgot. And Ricardo Montalban is just like stealing this scene. I cannot keep my eyes off him. He like I say chewing up the scenery, but it's really just magnetism. Like he's a star. Like he's just super cool, and like his eyebrows and stuff, and he's, you know, the way he thinks and looks and stuff. And then when he's addressing Paul Winfield and Chekhov, like he's got like this cool kind of Lawrence of Arabia sand, like mercenary who's been living out in the desert and all this. Although that mullet with the bangs, like it looks like he should blow dry it and make it all crispy like a girl from the late 80s. But other than that, he's cool as hell. Echo says he remembers when Data met the Borg Queen and told her how many days and how long it's been since he had sex. 8 years, 7 months, 60 days, 4 minutes, 22 seconds. Found my missing Blu-ray. Heck yeah, nice. Oh, by the way, part of the reason I do like this new setup before the the leeches pop up. Thank you, Kylo Ren. Rick, you are... Me and you're going to have to become a tag team or something. You got my back on this. Thank goodness you found your Blu-ray, Echo. Drives me nuts when I'm looking for a movie I know and I can't find. Yeah, I agree. I've been in that same situation where it's like, I know I have this movie. Did someone borrow it? Where did I misplace it at? Oh, anyways, I can also do, with this new setup, I can do like this. And then I can also do this. So, yeah, there's a lot I can do with this new setup. So, just ride with me. Also, when Khan sees Chekhov, welcome to Fantasy Island. So here's where Khan gives his big soliloquy, where he explains how his ship, he landed on this island or this planet, and then a few months later their moon exploded and it destroyed everything, and they had to get over to this new desert moon and live there and try to survive for, in this horrible wasteland, and his wife died, and it's just like a whole... He explains his entire motivation in like 4 or 5 minute monologue. But just like, yeah, every second he's on screen, he's just, all the attention goes to him. That's Ricardo Montalban's awesome. Where was I? Yes. When Khan sees Chekhov, look at Fantasy Island. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, as I was explaining last night when I was watching King Kong, a lot of old movies suffer from the problem of the actors come from stage acting. So a lot of silent films that characters act like they do in silent, like in, a stage acting. So like if you have a cold or you're bothered or you must, like everything's so big and over the top. So like Montalban understands that the camera's pushed in on you and everyone is focused on you. So you can just like raise an eyebrow or like turn your head a little bit and it like steals the scene. Like you get goosebumps. And even there, he does like an exasperated sigh, like, I'm going to kill you guys so bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? I've heard different varying stories. Khan has this right-hand man. What's his name? Where is he at? whatever Khan's right-hand man is. He's in a bunch of B movies. He's kind of awesome. But a lot of people, I think his name is Jareth or something like that. I don't remember. But a lot of people think that's Khan's son. Other people say that's just like, one of his main people. Let me know if you have thoughts on Khan's possibly illegitimate son. And then here's where he grabs Chekhov by the little handle on the front of his thing and picks him up like Undertaker, like chokeslam style. So we see he's like super jacked villain mode, like, yeah, he's this brain, but he's also got brawn. And then just as he does that, he takes off his robe and he's got that big chest. Now, here's what a lot of people discuss. Is it a fake chest or is it a real chest? The director says it's a real chest, but if he's got to keep it kayfabe, you know what I mean? He can't switch. I think it's real because there are several scenes where he leans over and you can kind of see it like droop down a little bit, but it's so like he looks like Bolo Young. It's ridiculous. But you can also see where his necklace is, how it could be a prosthetic, like fake chest. So yeah, let me know where you stand on the Ricardo Montalban chest debate. Is it a real chest? Is it a fake chest? Let's get back to anyways, I don't want to get back to chat just yet. Hold on. This is the part where he reaches in with the tongs into this like aquarium thing and pulls out the babies out of the back of this stegosaurus looking thing, and they're like little leeches, and he puts two of them in like a medical thing, and he takes them over and he lets them crawl into their ears. Well, actually he puts them in their helmets and puts their helmets on their head, and these little leeches crawl into their ear, and then they like control your brain, and you become like under their control. You have no will. I think that monster is the third scariest alien of all time. I said it. I think the aliens, the xenomorphs from Alien. By the way, happy Alien Day to you. LV 426 is the planet where they first discover the aliens. So today's April 26th. It's Alien Day. So Into House, which will be later today on Larry's channel at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, brother. So it'll be Aliens Day on that show. We'll talk aliens, all that, and then later that night, Cinephile Sanity is watching Aliens, and Larry will be on that show as well. So Larry's got Alien Day content. So check out my man, the Horror Cat Dad. He's Alien Day-ing it up. Nobody's having a better Alien Day than him. You know who's having a bad Alien Day is these guys with the leech crawling up into their ear, and it's like, you can see the little pinchers and they're slimy and they keep cutting to their face and they're like, ah. Anyways, as I was saying, my favorite aliens, number one, Xenomorph, scariest, by far the scariest. Acid blood, it's got the thing that comes out of its mouth, even the whole part with the face huggers and they rip their face. Yeah, just nightmare fuel. So aliens are the scariest. Second scariest is The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, because it can be anything and it's so gross and, whatever with the tentacles and all that. But third are these guys. They scare the hell out of me. I don't want any weird bug crawling up my head into my ear. That's just gross as hell. And the reason I say it's controversial because Predator scares me less than these things. Like Predator's almost kind of cool. I want to have a beer with a Predator and talk with them about how'd you get into this Predator and business. But yeah, no, I don't want to F with these leech things that crawl in your ear. It's disgusting. Like, I'm not even like a bug phobia guy. That thing is nightmares. Where are we? In 1972, Brent Spiner first appeared to tell the truth under the name Brent Mintz. Really? Yeah, Brent Spiner is if you like Star Trek Next Generation, you like you some Data. Data's like, he should run for president. Like him and Henry Winkler have like the highest approval ratings out of anybody on the internet. Everybody loves Brent Spiner and everybody loves Henry Winkler. Anybody remember when Roddy McDowell would pop up in Fantasy Island as the devil? It was trippy. I remember him being on Fantasy Island. I do remember him being the devil. Do you wear a black suit? And it was like a spy versus spy gig. I don't remember. Now Russell says, Khan. So yeah. You know what I need to do is go, Khan. There, that's better. I don't want to blow you guys out of the microphone. Professor says he always thought that dude was his son. But like I said, his wife dies, so they don't really talk about him having a son. It never really gets explained. It's just, I don't know, they got the same haircut. Clearly, they must be related. Rick Sawyer says, by God. He does a JR impersonation just in typing. That guy is talented. What is funny is Chekhov hadn't debuted till after the episode with Khan. Khan shouldn't know who Chekhov is. See, look at you. You remember that stuff too. I think that's one of the things that pops up in the Nicholas Myer commentary. And here we see Kirk meeting all these cadets. And I never realized how young they all are until now. But the one that looks like Davy from the Monkees, apparently he's Scotty's nephew, but they don't really talk about it in the regular cut. In the extended cut, I think it might get mentioned, but he's whatever, like I say, some family to Scotty. So later on when that dude dies, it's very traumatic. Professor, great episode. Don, that was so funny. It's real, the pure Montalban, baby. Yeah, see, that's what I think too. I think it's a real chest, but there are people who will adamantly say, no, that's clearly a prosthetic by the necklace and it's tucked in like a dicky kind of thing. Friday is a busy streaming day. Everyone is popping up on Friday. Yeah. That's why I wanted to go with Sci Friday. Is that good branding? That's what I felt like I needed to go with, because I also wanted to watch something for Alien Day, but I didn't want to do. Everybody else is going to do Aliens movies. I thought about doing Alien 3 because nobody else will. It's an unloved child. I'll take care of it, but I didn't want to do Alien 3, even though it's a David Fincher film and I could probably go off on it. But I thought I would just do the classic Sci Friday, and like I said, the weird leech thing that crawls up the Chekhov's face and Paul Winfield's face and gets in their brain. Nightmares. So yeah, that's a scary ass alien. Be sure to let me know your favorite scary aliens in the comments or the chat. Let's see here. Larry is a great gentleman. Yes, he is. I am very lucky to have a cohort like Larry. I think that's part of our charm. Is he's very classy and reserved and a calm guy, and I'm kind of a loudmouth jackass. He says his favorite aliens are Matilda May from Life Force, then Species Chick, and the last 7 of 9. Says Macabro and his boob branding is just he gets it. Professor LOL. Yeah, exactly. The only thing that scares me is not being scared. Ooh, look at you. That's deep. Echo, so true. Brett Spiner on some of the episodes of Night Court, so I was unaware of that. So yeah, here we see Savick, played by Kirstie Alley. I think this is the first time I ever saw her, and I didn't think much of her. I mean, she didn't make a huge impression on me, other than it's a lady Spock. But then later on, she blew up on Cheers. And she was on Cheers, like I don't know. Well, at first, what's her name was on there. Shelley Long, and then she came in to replace her, and she actually did just as good of a job. Usually a replacement actor does terrible and isn't liked, but she was kind of universally liked. And then after that, she became like kind of a half an internet nut, and her weight would go up and down, and she would always be promoting weight loss plans and selling stuff on QVC or whatever. And then when she passed away, like everybody was kind of shocked. I was like, well, she was clearly leading a wild lifestyle. 7 of 9 is human. Rick's going to go technicality on Professor Macabro. Don't deny him the boobs, Rick. Rick, are you familiar with Macabro? Keeping that man from boobs is it's a tough task. Although you're giving it a go. Aliens chest busting scene with John Hurt, the cast was not told it was going to happen, and it was the real reactions. Yeah, I've heard that before, but you also got to remember they probably didn't know, not so much that it was going to burst open, but they were going to get splattered in the face with goop. You know what I mean? Like, as a rule of thumb, if any weird liquids hit me in the face, I'm going to do a thing, right? I would think Brett Spiner's lowest point in his career was Master of Disguise. He played the farty villain. Ooh, see, I'm going to admit this. I've never seen Master of Disguise because I didn't think the turtle thing was funny to me. Like, I don't know. Dana Carvey was okay, but he works better with Mike Myers, or he works better. Like, what was that movie where he's like a LA hustler and he, oh God, Career Opportunity? No, that wasn't Career Opportunity. Something Opportunities, it seems like, with Dana Carvey, and he's not a good. He can't carry a movie, so I never saw Master of Disguise, and sounds like I'm happy about it. Fine. She's bored. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate this. I owe you one, my friend. And now this to me is a cool subplot. Captain Kirk gets a distress call, and this Dr. Marcus lady, well, later on, I'm getting ahead of the movie, but basically he gets a distress call and he's reunited with this woman he knew and he'd had an affair with. He's this cool captain out hitting up all these ports, and he runs into this hot babe at a space station and they get it on. So then he figures out this is his son, and it's got this soap opera kind of, melodrama deal where, she's a, what do you call it, independent woman. She don't need Kirk's help. She can raise that kid all by herself and be a doctor at the same time. So Kirk goes through all these emotional, like, you can see William Shatner just trying to he's the king of overacting, which makes him awesome. But there are just so many little, you understand why Star Trek works by just watching this movie. It's about the people and their soap opera life stuff, and then the, action of each episode too. When you're finding yourself rooting for Troy and Riker to hook up, you know what I mean? That's soap opera stuff, but that you are, what was it? Who slept with Data? Tasha Yar? Is that who it was? And she was pretty hot. She quit the show to go on Pet Sematary, right? But then that was kind of the end of her career. Cynthia Rothrock was too good at that thing. We need a short-haired blonde, okay? Cynthia Rothrock. Sorry, I lisped that one up. Yeah, I love this, how Khan has control of Chekhov's mind, and he's just all now he's got the ship, and he's got kind of this space biker look to him. So you can tell he doesn't belong on these clean corporate spaceships with, everything looks like it gets cleaned twice a day. That's the thing about Star Trek. How come nobody's ever vacuuming? It seems like there would have to be people polishing the walls, and I don't know. Let's see. The Borg are an alien species. Big movies come from the human side. All right, you guys, you learn to play nice. John did a parody of the chest bursting scene in Spaceballs. I do remember that part. That's a classic. Kirk must have the weirdest STDs in the whole galaxy. Yeah, he does have no shame about where he sticks it. If you've not seen Picard, you should watch Picard. Annika H., 7 of 9, plays a huge role. Skip season 1 and 2. Yeah, that's another one I've been following through reviews of people. I didn't really want to devote my time to tracking it down and getting behind the Paramount paywall to sit there and watch these shows that a lot of people were divided on. But Picard, after the first couple seasons, I heard was good. Borg in the Next Generation. I think he wanted to be written out, so they turned him into Locutus of the Borg. Yeah, the whole Locutus thing, that was another part that, it's good melodrama because the captain's like the hero of the thing, and all of a sudden they've turned him bad guy. It's like Hulk Hogan going to the NWO or something. Picard is like the symbol of altruistic, militaristic tough guy. He follows a very clear-cut path of right and wrong. So to see him all in the black and turned into a half robot was kind of chilling and awesome. Like I said, it's like the Borg are basically space zombies, except the opposite of zombies, because zombies are dumb and the Borgs are geniuses. But you feel me. Let's see here. Captain Picard became a Borg in one of the films. Yeah. Became a Borg in TNG. I think he wanted to be written out. Okay, so we have all seen this. Why did it jump high? It's so high. Yes. Yeah, I love all this where, the Dr. Marcus contacts Kirk and lets him know they're stealing Genesis. And he's like, what are you talking about? So it kind of gives us a MacGuffin for the movie, or like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. It's the Genesis device is what everybody is chasing after in this movie. But as far as MacGuffins go, it's a pretty good one because it's cool. It creates life. Like a lot of times people chase after bombs in movies, like the Ark of the Covenant is kind of a weapon, But the Genesis device, it creates life. Oh, I see a pop shit quiz. Captain Fistfight between Kirk, Picard, or Cisco. Ooh, that's a toughie. I'm probably going to go Kirk because they make him the toughest. Like they seem to write him as the ultimate guy. So I would have to follow what the writers would probably do. But Picard is pretty fisky. He seems like he would give you like the pugilist kind of. And then Cisco. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cisco because he was. Oh God, what was that TV show he was on? Where Hawk, maybe, I don't know, where he had like the dark glasses and he was basically like the first Morpheus. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cisco. Avery Brooks, is that his name? Yeah, I'm gonna go him. I think he would go him. Borg for life. Brent Spiner's appearance on Tell the Truth on YouTube. Oh, see, Russell always knows the good YouTube stuff. Rick goes Kirk. Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, they as far as the writing and the booking goes, Kirk is John Cena. You know what I mean? I expect him to win every match. But in real life, I'm going Avery Brooks. Or is that the other one? Yeah, it's Avery Brooks, right? Yeah, it's been a minute. So yeah, now they're on their way traveling to the Genesis planet or the Genesis moon space station deal, and when they get on there, it's like a full-on haunted house movie. It's scary, right? Like they're walking through and like bodies just fall out of the sky, kind of like an Aliens movie. Like um, that's part of the reason I like this. It stands alone from all the other movies except for the ending with Spock that they then fix in part 3 because this movie did so well and everybody liked Nimoy's performance so much that he wanted to come back after deciding he wanted to die. Um, wow, very disco still though. Like I pointed out in the first Star Trek movie, it looks very California beach bum. Like everything's white and the short sleeves and like yeah, very clean. But this is more like the militaristic classic red with the um, submarine movie is what Nicholas Myer calls it. And I think that is the best way to think of Star Trek is like a submarine movie. But anyways, they're in Spock's room and it's very 70s. It's like lots of gold rhinestones and crazy lights and stuff. Spock's into disco. Hold up. I want to play this new Donna Summer album for you. Let's see here. Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Oh, that is a cool ass song. You're right. What's that by? I forget. Do they play nothing but Phil Collins songs on the Genesis station? You're looking at you. I'm looking at me. Things are always the same, and that's all. I like Sulu. George Takei, basically he was kind of a lower character on the show. He's just basically the guy who flies the ship. But then his, internet presence and his stuff on Family Guy and a bunch of other stuff, he kind of became more adored later on in life than he was when he was a young man. Okay, fellas, I'm expecting an engineering at 0900 hours tomorrow. Have a great night. Safe teleporting, my friend. Thanks for dropping by, Rick. Yeah, I'm glad Rick dropped by. Rick's a cool dude. Like I say, I really enjoy just the shorts I've seen on Instagram, and I kept meaning to check out his channel. So yeah, be sure to check out Rick's horror review show. He's like I say, he puts on a very professional presentation, and he's got really good voice characters. He does impersonations and other things. It's really funny. Yeah, folks are saying goodnight to Rick. Christopher Lloyd was a great Klingon with his pet dog creature. Yeah, I believe he's the Klingon in part 3, Search for Spock. Yeah, not to ruin this for anybody who hasn't seen this before, but at the end, Spock does die. Like I said, Nimoy had said he didn't want to do any more of these, so they killed off his character. And they have the fake death up front to kind of take that off your mind, and you're not waiting for Spock to die the whole time. But at the end, it does. And the reason I dig it is it's one of the more emotional deaths. Like he gets to give this whole speech about the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and he does the like live long and prosper against the glass, like prison love kind of thing. And it's everybody's crying and they're trying to like get in the room. It's one of the most like dramatic, emotional scenes. And then after this huge, and then after that, they have a funeral for him. It's crazy. And then the funeral's sad, and they shoot him out into space with the Genesis planet and stuff. Um, but then after all of that, in part 3, that's called The Search for Spock, and they just like go looking for Spock's body. The Genesis device recreates him. It like makes him as a little baby, and he grows back up like extra fast for some reason. Just subbed Rick. Good, Russell. See, that's what I like. I like when people get some reward for popping by on these. Yeah, like I said, check out Rick's stuff. He's very good at it. He puts on a very professional presentation. You will always be my friend. Exactly. That's another one of the you remember it too. Just him being trapped behind that glass and you can't open the door. So just he gives this impassioned, like the way every actor would want to do a death scene. Here they do a retinal scan on Kirk. Like he has a machine he looks into and it shines a red light in his eye and verifies that he's him. Super space age and weird when this came out. Like, oh, that's way high tech, and now every phone does it. Speaking of phone, I'm personally convinced that the phone is based on the Star Trek tricorder thing or whatever. Even back on this Star Trek, they have like these little handheld devices, and they tap the thing to do the Bluetooth kind of deal. I think basically nerds grew up watching Star Wars or Star Trek, and they wanted to emulate. Like, we know what we need is little hand things to do everything. A map, a video camera, a voice recorder, a notepad, connecting to all the knowledge of the internet. So I another hot take. I think the Star Trek helped create our modern cell phone addiction. Let's see here. The whole Khan thing in that reboot series was weird. Could have been handled but better. Are you talking about the Benjamin Button, or what's his name? Benjamin Cumberbatch? Is that his name? In the new versions of the remake, they wanted to do Khan again because it was such an awesome character in this movie. A lot of people think it's the best one, like I do. So they wanted to bring Khan back, but people figured out that Benedict Cumberbatch was, I called him Benjamin. Benedict Cumberbatch was probably going to be Khan, because he obviously wasn't going to be Kirk or Spock or whatever. That they already cast them in the first movie. So he told everybody, no, it's not what it's going to be. And then when the movie came out, sure enough, it is Khan, and it's supposed to be a big reveal, but it was spoiled basically. But I don't know about Rick, but I also just subbed. All right, there you go. Well, I think you'll dig Rick. Hey, Cinephile Sanity, Sean is here. Yeah, Sean, I mentioned your tomorrow nights. I shouted out your stream of Alien Day for Aliens on your channel with my boy Larry. So nice for you to pop in, Sean. I appreciate it. You still have your collection? I do. I have it in storage. Basically, the Wisconsin winter got so damn bad, I wasn't looking forward to moving, and I kind of just been out on the road. So after that, now it's time to hunker down and get an apartment for the summer at least, and get my stuff out of storage and look at my movies. I'll have to spend a day putting up shelves and going through things. Maybe I'll make a good video. Just woke up, but going back to bed soon, and just wanted to say hi. Well, welcome, Sean. I appreciate you being here, buddy. Yeah, Sean's always awesome. If you're not familiar with his channel, he does watch-alongs as well. His cast of friends, Juno and Texas Hardcore, and like I said, our buddy Larry is going to be on there tomorrow night too. He's got a fun crew of guys, lots of always good flicks. He's always watching good flicks. That's one of the things. Video Tasties and Cinephile Sanities kind of taught me you don't have to do just horror or just whatever or follow this theme or that. You can just do good movies. So that's why we're watching this, because this is a good-ass movie. Let's see here. Oh, I've been wanting to ask, how did you feel about Late Night with the Devil using the Night Owl name? Yeah, I had heard that I saw a clip of it go by on the internet, like the early previews. That movie got a hella buzz. I thought it was out, right? Like I was convinced that it was out, and people were out talking about it. I was like, I got to track on this Late Night with the Devil movie. And it was always like people were posting about it on Instagram, and I'd heard folks talk about like how the premiere or whatever. And then it's like, oh, it comes out on cable in like or on Shutter in like 2 weeks. And it's like, oh, okay. So I set it as notify and gave it a watch. But I had seen that they had the Night Owl show on there. That's part of the reason I kind of was interested in it. Like, I think I liked it. I didn't really dig the ending as much either. It didn't bother me the way it bothered a lot of people, but I thought it was all right. But the rest of it, the Night Owl show and the like 1970s aesthetic, like the Merv Griffin show, Dick Cavett show, I don't know. I was thinking about even doing a watch along for it because it's such a crazy movie that I have a lot of thoughts on the people and the people portrayals in it. Oh, I love that shot. We see Khan is in charge of Chekhov's ship, and he's sitting in the captain's chair. You know, he's got his crazy like desert biker look, and then all his crew is like scattered around him like a parentheses. It's like shot like the way it's staged is really remarkable. You kind of see these like people who look like they do not belong on a Federation ship in control. And you also see Montalban do like a chest flex thing and his boobs move. So yeah, I'm thinking that's definitely him. Oh, let's see here. Where were we? So I got caught in the movie. Oh, yeah. So anyways, I didn't particularly get annoyed about them using Night Owl. It was funny to me though, that right away when I saw it, I technically took it from Watchmen, which, by the way, I watched just the other night. If you'd like to watch that with me, that's now available on Night Owl Movie Talk YouTube channel. Yeah, when I watched that, you know, they have the Night Owl in there and stuff. So I actually not even at one point I was one of the higher rated Night Owls. One of them people is like Night Owl on YouTube, and they have like, I don't know, a big following. But that's why I specifically have Night Owl Movie Talk on it instead of just Night Owl. But yeah, share and share like. It's a name that I always liked it better than vampire. Like my family would always call me some sort of name, you know, raccoon, vampire, night owl, or whatever. So when you say it like that, Night Owls is like the most gentle, nice, friendly of them all. It's like, hey, how you doing? I'm vampire. You know, it's like, I'm sex machine. How are you? So yeah, I don't know. I the Night Owl moniker is often stuck. Like, and people understand when you say that to them. It's like, yeah, I'm a night owl. They're like, oh, okay, you know. But if you tell people I'm a vampire, they're gonna have questions. So yeah, I think everybody should use it. Although I said that about Don, and look what happened with the president. Never seen Late Night on Look Movie 2. I think, oh, that would be probably a place where it would be. It's actually really enjoyable. Russell, you would dig it. There's a guy who's like James Randi, the amazing Randy. You would probably remember him. And there's a guy like Uri Geller, the dude who used to do mentalism and spoons and stuff. So they also get deep into like governmental conspiracies with like that, what's that place in California where all the folks go and dance around and have a pagan, whatever. Hey, our friend Ben Grimm is here. They shot one of the Star Trek movies on my dad's Navy ship. Oh, wow. Was that 4 maybe? Might have been 4. But yeah, that's cool. Welcome, Ben Grimm. I was thinking about you the other day. I was like, haven't seen Ben in a minute. I hope he's cool. At my command, Christopher Lloyd is a Klingon. Yeah, and the third one. That's so cool. Ben Grimm likes Fang Banger instead of Vampire. Yeah, that is pretty good. How you doing? I'm Fang Banger. Late Night with the Devil is on Shutter. Yeah, that's where I watched it. Like I said, it really caught me off guard how much pre-release like pub it got. But I enjoyed it. I thought it, you know, the idea of having somebody get possessed live on a talk show, isn't that the plot of like Repossessed? You know what I mean? So the idea of the movie is kind of but then when you dig into, you know, like I say, the non-believer there trying to spit facts at what he thinks is fake, that's kind of cool. So here's where Kirk sees Khan for the first time. You know, like I said, Khan is in charge of Chekhov's ship, and Kirk encounters it, and they are trying to figure out who's in charge. Why are they not answering when we talk to them? And then Khan pops up, and you can see Kirk like, oh shit. It's the one with the whales, I think. Yeah, that's 4. That's what I was guessing, because I think there's a part with a Navy ship on there, but also a lot of Navy ships like under, you know, in the bowels are like catwalks and stuff. So if you needed to shoot a scene that looked authentic, like a long hallway to fix something, you know, who knows what movie that could be. But yeah, as I recall, part 4 did have a Navy ship in it. He said Nimoy shooting a scene in the ship's office area. Ooh, nice. Wolf is the one of the Star Trek films as a lawyer before Star Trek. Oh, Worf, duh. Is in one of the Star Trek films as a lawyer before Star Trek: The Next Generation. A lawyer. Is he in Undiscovered Country, perhaps? I don't know. But I thought Next Generation would have been out by then. I don't know. But anyways, that's one of the weird things about Star Trek. The show was only on for a few years, and then it got canceled, and I think maybe they brought it back again, and then they canceled it fully. But either way, it kind of laid dormant. There was the cartoon series, and they made the Star Trek movie, the first one, the Star Trek the Motion Picture, and it was, like I said, it kind of 2001-ish, but it was kind of slow and weird. The main thing everybody remembers about it is the bald chick. But then all these characters that used to be on that show, they never got a new show. Their show became the movies, and we would only see Kirk and Spock and them in movie form. And there really wasn't a big bulk catalog of Star Trek for there to garner then movie series, the same characters. I don't think that's ever happened. That's weird. The whales, of course. See, that's the thing. I don't like part 4. A lot of people love it because in that one, it's very kind of self-referential. It makes fun of a lot of the ideas of Star Trek, and it's got a whole time travel subplot, and it's got this whale noise subplot. It's a lot of stuff that I'm not into, but a lot of people find it the funnest of all of them. Meanwhile, I like the one where they hijack this, whatever, Spock's brother hijacks the Enterprise and goes to the edge of the universe to meet God. The one where Kirk and Bones are put in jail. Yeah, that's in 4, I believe. Yeah. Hey, Caveman Movies More Guy is here. Hello. Thank you, Guy. He's always nice to me. He comes in, makes sure everybody's hitting that like button. I got 7 of you hanging out right now in the chat. Have you guys all seen this movie? Like with Kong last night, a lot of folks haven't seen it. I know that. At least, they're familiar with the story, but they haven't watched the movie, the 1933 one at least. But this one, I think a lot of people assume that because it's a Star Trek movie and they haven't seen any of the 10 of them or whatever there are, that, sorry, this is the classic scene where Kirk tells Khan, like, here it comes. Actually, he does that in a second later on at the end too. Here it comes. Nicholas Myer said he made him say that line like 50 times because like the first 40, William Shatner was being William Shatner. Here it comes. And then like he this scene, this was fantastic. It's one of the reasons I remember this movie and loved it as a kid. These like strong push-ins with the camera that capture their face, and it's like this heavy dramatic scene, even with the sound off. They just cut to like Kirk's lips and he's saying fire, and you see Khan, who's been like the ungracious winner over this last few minutes, where he's acted like he has all the power, so he makes the rules. He's just a total bully, and now he gets his ass kicked, and it's kind of awesome. So anyways, he says he's never watched a Star Trek movie or the show. Yeah, see what I mean? It's alienating, I think. Pardon the pun. I think it's one of those things where the universe is so huge with all the TV shows and all those damn movies that you don't know where to begin, and you don't know like how to keep track of it all. And that's a lot of brain power to throw at all these characters and places and stuff. It's because of the television tie-in that I've watched it all, especially the Next Generation stuff. But they were always. I saw Star Trek 1 in the theater with a babysitter. Like I think my parents were out of town, and I was staying with my daytime babysitter for the weekend, and they took me to Star Trek. And it was weird because we came in the middle of the movie, and then they we sat through it all, and then we waited to watch the beginning. Like now that seems weird. It seems like an usher would come in and kick you out or something, especially with the assigned seats. But like back then, yeah, you just show up, and if you miss the first 15 minutes, just sit and wait for the next showing to come around, and they're fine. I think back then you probably even smoked cigarettes in the theater. Who knows? But I saw Star Trek 1 in the theater, and I'm glad I did, because that's a movie you should see big and blown up. But all the rest of them were just cable classics. This one, especially, I've seen so many times on cable. He watched Lower Decks, the cartoon. The Wrath of Khan is probably the Star Trek movie I've seen the most. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same boat. Like I was saying, it's self-contained. As long as you kind of know the basic characters, Scotty and them, like like if you've never seen Star Wars, you probably know who Chewbacca is, And that's how this is. It's like if you have the basic idea of what Star Trek is, you can pretty much just watch this movie and you don't really need to mess with any of the other ones. Here's where Scotty's nephew is dead and they got him covered up with the silver blanket. Take it easy, David Jones. There are certain concessions in this movie, like Nicholas Myer talked about it, that in space there's no noise. Like as the Aliens poster said, in space no one can hear you scream. It's a vacuum, right? So your voice, waves don't travel. The sound waves, there's nowhere for them to go. So same with the ships and stuff. Like they don't make noise. In Star Wars, when they're like all that, that's how Star Wars is. Have you seen it? That was a perfect recreation. The way they do that there, it makes a bunch of noise because we need a war movie. So, but in space, it would just all be silent. So most of this, there's a little bit of noise because he wanted to dial it back some. But at the very end, there's the part where they go into like this cloud and the radars don't work. And in there, it's kind of silent, as I recall. Michael Dorn played Worf. Yeah, he's a very good actor. They do a great time travel episode back in the series days where they went back to the 50s. Spock had to wear a knit hat to cover the top stage. They were always time traveling in the original series. Like, yeah, I think I have seen that one where they went back to the 50s. I was thinking of the one also where they went back to the 20s, and they're like with the Tommy guns, and one of them maybe gets arrested. I know that's always the plot. It's like they send a landing crew down, and someone gets arrested or detained or held, for by the king of the planet or whatever. Oh no, we have to rescue Spock. Spock, I need to rescue you. That's money. That's money, Captain Kirk, right there. Send me to vaudeville. Speaking of time travel, love the Family Guy episode where Stewie brings back the OG cast of The Next Generation. I never saw that one, I don't think. I mean, I might have. You know how Family Guy is. They bombard you with so many quick things. Who knows what I've seen and haven't. The first Doctor movie was very innovative for that time, but watching it today as a drag, and it's similar to 2001. Yeah, I agree. Caveman, I remember when they were in their own mod and they became BCM Nazis. Oh yeah, the Star Trek original episodes. Oh, here's the part I was talking about before. They go Chekhov, Kirk, and Savick. Oh, no, sorry, it's Bones. He was in the shadows. Sorry, Bones, Kirk, and Savick go down as a landing team, an away team. And they're walking through the tunnels of this like ghost dead space station, and there's no one around, and everything's shot from like spying angles. And then like they find these dead bodies that just drop down, and it like then like they meet Chekhov, and he's all zombied out. Him and Paul Winfield are like overly friendly and helpful. But this is all like for a little bit, the movie becomes kind of a horror movie. All good movies should have, multiple levels to them. And this one takes an adventure a lot of ways. DeForest Kelley is way scared of rats. How did a rat get on a space station? I don't even want to know. Probably Khan's crew, bunch of dirty creeps. Caveman, I remember that when they were. Oh, you knock it off. Yeah, here's where they find the bodies and they lower them down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're saying, like rigor mortis hasn't set in, so they're pretty fresh. And then the Kirk becomes concerned about his, girlfriend or one-time girlfriend or whatever. The set on this is really cool. Like they like this geodesic dome with like the kind of this walk around. Like this set alone was probably huge money, and they only use it for a little bit. Like the sets on the Enterprise are very reusable. Like even there where they were walking through the hallways of the space station, those are probably just Enterprise wall sets. which are the same kind of wall sets they use in Star Trek: The Next Generation. This movie, it basically sets the template for The Next Generation with the uniforms. Well, for all these movies going forward, I should say. Where are we? Mini animated Next Gen on YouTube on the Family Guy episode. Mob, sorry, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, they joined the Nazi mob. Yeah, this is all good. Where they find Chekhov and Paul Winfield, and he's like telling how Khan controlled him, and then after a minute, they like, I think Winfield commits suicide, and then Chekhov he goes through like this overacting kind of Marlon Brando thing where he's like, they're tearing me apart. Then the weird like leech crawls out of his ear. Then he spends the movie going through like leech rehab. Yeah, like I say, Paul Winfield's kind of the poor man's Morgan Freeman. Like he should have been in a lot more stuff. He has like so much like sincerity. Like he doesn't play like a tough guy, but he just like he holds the screen. Same with Montalban, except Montalban like is the king of holding the screen. Every time he's on, he just captivates it. Oh, let's see here. It's currently 2:11 in the morning. We are at the 103:24 mark of the movie. I'm watching it on Max. They have all the Star Trek movies on Max, as I discovered earlier. I didn't realize that they own the rights to the movies. Like I said, all the modern TV stuff is on the Paramount channel. But apparently the movie ownership and the television rights ownership must be different entities. Would you allow yourself to be transported? Like there's been accidents with transporters, like where people are disassembled and then reassembled wrong or whatever. Like it's kind of like The Fly. Remember in The Fly when he gets on the thing and he jumps to the other thing and the problem is the putting back together. I don't know. Would you be willing to be transported? It seems like it's the old you're safer on an airplane than in your bathroom deal. Like, millions of people are being transported every day and only 3 get turned into scrambled eggs. Hey, Video Tasties. Good morning, Gareth. How are you, my friend? Yeah, I was trying to figure out the Khan's sidekick, who may or may not be his son. I thought his name was Gareth or Jareth, but it turns out it's Joachim. So you were mentioned earlier inadvertently. But anyways, good morning, buddy. Yeah, there he's got the flip phone. Like I was saying, in my opinion, a lot of Star Trek stuff influenced the new stuff we have. It's like, well, how did they solve that problem on that TV show? Oh, they did it like this. Okay. Well. Or people were like, what we need is them Star Trek communicators. Let's start working on one. Hello? Let's see here. Russell says that he met Scotty Actor on the GO train on his way to visit his brother in Oakville, Ontario, Canada, years ago. Oh, yeah. Walter or James Doohan. Is that his name? Yeah, I believe that's his name. Good morning, Gareth. Yeah, hey, Gareth. Yeah, Gareth's the man. Keep an eye out on Gareth's channel. Sometime coming up soon, he and I are going to be watching Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Although over there they shorten it to just Remo because they take, they don't have time for all that nonsense over there. Yeah, I don't know. This all the stuff I see, I'm just amazed at how it influences everything to come after it. Because the original the original series suits are like, bright, kind of flowery. They look like the 60s. It's all big primary colors and too much oversaturation. And then that movie, they have the white kind of beach. And that's funny that's almost what David Marcus, his son, what he wears. It looks kind of like that same thing. So I think Nicholas Myer does a good job of tying that first movie together. Like I say, they also use the same spacesuit that Spock is in when he's doing like a total 2001 ripoff deal. But they use those same spacesuits when Chekhov and Paul Winfield were going to where they ended up finding Khan on the desert planet. Oh, let's see here. Folks are here. Doohan, yes, that's what I thought. No, I didn't mean that like that. I mean, like, yeah, that's what I thought. No, I meant like, yeah, I thought so. Things are fuzzy in the dude's head. Lots of ins, lots of outs. Yeah, I kind of love this. They've been playing like this fake zombie role, like Stepford Wives kind of deal, where they're like, "Oh, Captain Kirk, we're under Khan's control, but now we're all good." So then, when they pull their guns on them, and they and are like, "We're going to help you get the Genesis device." We see Paul Winfield. That's when he like fights his own like programming, and that's where he shoots himself and vaporizes himself. But then somehow Chekhov is mentally strong enough to overcome it and make the leech thing crawl out of his ear. So I don't know. I guess they're just saying Paul Winfield maybe isn't as strong as Chekhov. Gareth, you have any thoughts on? Yep, there you go. The ear slug thing still freaks me out. That's what I was talking about when the scene happened. Is I think that's one of the scariest aliens in all of these scary alien movies. That weird slug going into the ear and mind control thing. Let's see here. Did I like the Star Trek remake film? I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed it more than most people did. A lot of folks are anti J.J. Abrams. I don't care. He's fine to me. He's a Steven Spielberg ripoff clone. But Steven Spielberg makes awesome kind of mainstream movies, so that's why it doesn't really bother me. But the guys they got to play, like, what is it? Chris Pine plays Kirk, and Zachary Quinto from Heroes. If you ever watched Heroes, that's a really good show. But Zachary Quinto, I think, plays Spock, and I don't remember who Bones is. But yeah, I think what's her name plays Uhura. Tandy Newton, is that who plays her? Which means she's in that and Guardians of the Galaxy, which means she's like set for conventions for the rest of her life. Like her career can just always be sitting at a table signing autographs. Yeah, there's the part where Chekhov, the thing crawls out of his ear, and Kirk has put the whole plan together, and he goes over and picks up the communicator, and he's talking about like, Khan, you bloodsucker, I'm going to kill you, blah blah blah, and like you see Khan's face, like, oh my god, you're still alive? I thought I killed you. Like it's a real kind of Batman moment. There's several scenes of horror. There's several scenes of like cool tough guy action. There's all sorts of like really intense cinematography with the shots. Yeah, this movie's just really one of my favorites. Every time I see it, I'm captivated by the fact that this was made in 1982. So yes, anyways, I enjoyed the first one. The second one, not as much with the Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan thing, but yeah, it was all right. Let's see here. You know how the whales are known for their singing. Ever wonder if they have earworm issues like normal people? Ooh, that's wonder. Yeah, I wonder if they're under there like singing Hazy Shade of Winter. I had that in my head the other day. Or The Times They Are A-Changin'. I was looking at a dump bin in Walmart, and I'm listening to The Times They Are A-Changin', and I found The Watchmen, which starts off that movie. And then I went home and I watched The Watchmen as a stream the other night, and they have The Times They Are Changing on there, and the lyrics were up, and I could hear the music as the captioned lyrics were popping on the screen. So I would never wish that on any whale. And Russell's laughing at Caveman's idea. Yeah, here's where he says, God! And they cut to the shot of the moon, and you see all like the craters on the moon as we do a pull out, and he's just like still screaming, and it's echoing, God! Yeah, this part also too is one of my like things I remember about this movie and how cool it is the part where they're stranded. Like they can't contact the Enterprise, and they're stuck on this like space station thing. And like, I don't know if you ever had car trouble or travel thing, your plane got delayed or whatever, and you and your people are just like sitting there looking at each other like. And the cool part about this is the movie takes a lull. This is like the movie should. We just had a big action scene, and now we're going to have like a chill scene so we can rebuild more action, and it means something later. So they do this thing where they say it's going to take like 3 days to fix it, but really it's code. It's only like a day to fix it. So like the music kind of picks up and the movie like starts back up. Like the heroes are back at it. They seem defeated, but now they're getting ready to like come back and, you know, kick Khan's ass. So yeah, this scene is kind of important for the music of it all. You know, we need the low point for the high point to mean something. Yeah, what is this lady's name? The one who plays Dr. Carol Marcus, BB Besh. She does a really good job. Like you could believe that Kirk and her would have had a thing back in the day. You know, like she's like a smart, young, pretty doctor. Kirk's, you know, Chris Pine, and the two of them hook up. It makes sense. But boy, Kirk's son is half a dick, isn't he? We should have the scene where Joachim and David Marcus have a fight. Like I would like that. As like an undercard bout between Kirk and Khan. One of my earliest interviews was director Nicholas Myer. It didn't go well. Oh wow, I'm gonna actually have to watch that. I like Nicholas Myer, so I'm curious how it would go. He does seem like he might be hard to talk to though. Like he seems like he has a big ego. But like I said, his commentary of this movie I've seen 4 or 5 times at least. I kind of remember certain lines as I'm watching this. Like he talks about where in the beginning, Khan takes off his glove, but he leaves the other glove on. And he's like, well, why would Khan do that? And he's like, I don't know. It just felt right. So yeah, I'm going to have to check that out, Gareth. I always enjoyed Nicholas Myer, but I bet that might be kind of fun. Christopher Plummer from The Sound of Music played a Klingon. He did. I didn't know Christopher Plummer was a Klingon. Maybe I did know that. They after Star Trek became real mainstream and people dug it, a lot of folks came out of the woodwork as Trekkers or Trekkies. His son was an actor on Fright Night too. Christopher Plummer? He's very intelligent and serious gentleman, but we are still in touch. Oh, good. I like that. I don't want to cause any trouble between you and Nicholas Myer. I kind of explained in him earlier how he did The Day After Tomorrow, which was like this nuclear war mini series that freaked America out. Like it was an event, a TV event. Everybody was talking about it. And he also wrote this book that even as a kid I heard of, The 7% Solution, with Sherlock Holmes and Sigmund Freud together. But then he also came back and did the Star Trek I Like Nobody Else, or no, the Undiscovered Country. After Final Frontier, the one I like that nobody else does, your pain, share it with your pain. It runs deep. Share it with me. Yeah, they go to the edge of the universe and meet God. That kind of killed the franchise. That movie made like the worst of all the Star Trek movies. People were kind of done with them. So they brought Nicholas Myer back to do the Undiscovered Country, and that's the one with the I think Kirk and them are accused of murder, and there's like a trial, and there's a real cool scene at the beginning where some Klingons get murdered, and blood comes out, and it's in 0G, so their like purple blood floats. It's kind of cool. I don't know. This I always remember. This actually has this shot coming up here was stolen in the Gremlins cartoon. Strangely enough, Secrets of the Mogwai. And one of my episodes, I point out how they're clearly stealing from this. She shows him the Genesis cave. Hey, can I show you my Genesis cave? Hey, girl, how many drinks do you need before I can see your Genesis cave? All right, that's inappropriate. So they show it's kind of dope. They do like the same thing they were doing in Kong last night. The right side of the screen is a model or a matte painting. And then on the side, they have like an animated river, but then they have little teeny like chroma keyed people standing on there. Yeah, the Genesis cave is the predecessor to the Genesis moon. So, you know what I mean? Let me check out your Genesis cave and let me check out your Genesis moon. Let's see here. No, Captain Kirk's son. They really do use teleportation and overload to the Discovery, teleporting from floor to floor to room, really too big of a crutch. I never really watched that much of Discovery. Yeah, it seems like it could be, you know, a crutch too much, like you use it as an elevator or whatever. But I kind of like the fear of it, the whole like you might not get reassembled right, or the old Jeff Goldblum fly thing. It's like, well, fly flew into my transporter beam and we got melded back together. The old telly story, Square Pegs, Kirk's son. I was thinking that. I was like, when I saw him on here, I kind of was trying to remember. Square Pegs was the main show he was on. I think Sarah Jessica Parker was maybe on there too. Like early 80s TV. So yeah, here's the part where we reveal that Kirk and Spock were using code and everything was half the time that they said it was. And like the music kicks back in and he explains to Savick, like, I'm slicker than you think I am. But I like how David Marcus and Carol Marcus get to go up to the Enterprise with them. And they just seem to like know what to do right away. They like take their coats off. It's like, make yourself at home. I mean, I guess they've probably been on space station or spaceships before, or whatever, the Federation ships. Let's see here. Teleporting Spaceballs. Why did you not tell me my ass was so big? Yeah, exactly. See, they re-teleport and the head is backwards and he kind of looks down and see his butt. Yeah, that's what I mean. It seems like teleporting might be something I'm uneasy with. So be sure to put in the chat or the comments if you'd be willing to be teleported. If you never got the COVID vax, you're certainly not getting teleported. I can tell you that. So yeah, here that's what that is. The Genesis planet. All right. It finally never made sense to me. So now the Kirk is back on the Enterprise and we can see like this ancient kind of 8-bit technology that they're using to show where Kirk is and where their Khan's ship is. And they're basically like chasing each other around the planet, hiding from one another. I wish they would have stuck with those. I think they do, but Scotty has on like this anti-radiation suit. Like it's like a white kind of deal with like, he looks like a stormtrooper with no helmet. Like I wish that the people in engineering all need to wear those. Those are cool. Let's see here. I finally got 30 subs, but don't do live streams. Yeah, Russell, you a YouTube celebrity though, brother. You part of the community. Everybody loves them some Russell. All this is dope. Like Nicholas Myer, when he made the movie, he said that he wanted to make it like a submarine movie, and that's the kind of the rules that he went by. So everything is done very like militaristically, and like the hallways are tight, and lots of red lights like they have in submarine movies and stuff. So like here's a scene where they're like showing how a torpedo gets launched, and the process by which all that goes down. It's a lot like in the first time they fire the Death Star. So we can see how it works. So then later on, when the end happens and Luke and them keep it from not working, Sorry, I was distracted. Now Montalban has a huge scar on his chest. And I think where people are getting confused is the scar in HD is mediocre. You can see where it's been spirit glued on or spirit gummed on. But no, his chest is clearly his chest. Give Ricardo a break. Teleporting from floor to floor sadly removes all of the future elevator sex opportunities. Yeah, but you ever get freaky deaky in that's getting into one another's. Let's pop in the same teleporter stream. I'm amazed that this is Nicholas Meyer's first directing like gig, because there's a lot of like expert like not only is it a pretty film, but just the way things are staged and a lot of the camera movements and stuff. It's really masterful on a lot of levels. So now the two spaceships are doing like kind of a basically a submarine movie. We're seeing the two ships fighting, and we keep cutting to bridge and having the different people in the military, like the way they interact with one another and run their operation. But the space is like there's a nebula going on all around outside in space. So there's these like purple and blue clouds. So it's not just the dead of black space. It looks real like funky, like they're fighting inside a lava lamp or something. You idiots, you captured their stunt doubles. Spaceballs is classic. Yeah, this is just great. Where here Kirk is outsmarted Khan again, and then he like calmly says, "I'm, I'm laughing at the superior intellect, Khan." Like it's a chance for the hero to be a real dick. Yeah, this purple and pink nebula stuff. It's I've said before the two best color combinations to use for the human eye are teal and orange, and that's why most movie posters are teal and orange. But kind of purple pink, like a magenta, and a blue, a darker blue, as the other two that the human eye really just reacts well to. So this, obviously this purple and blue sky makes everything look extra funky and groovy. There's all this lightning going on. I don't know. Is there lightning in space? I think it's the atmosphere of the Genesis planet is really what's going on, but pretty trippy, bruh. Where are we? Russell, you are truly a YouTube legend, loved by many. See, Guy knows. That's what I'm saying about Russell. I found Russell on Cinephile Sanity's channel, I think, and then he also turns up on a lot of other ones I watch. He's like Mayanne and a lot of folks around here. Just Mayanne, when I first met her, she just started making videos, and she'd already had like 30 subs because people loved her. I think she probably had like 50. People just loved her and knew her from popping up in streams and being Mayanne. So you can build a following just by being a good person around here. And Russell, cool as hell. Battleships from the game was bollocks bad. And I never saw that one. Was that with Rihanna? I'm thinking it's got like kind of a Transformers thing, like the battleships end up fighting aliens. I'm cool. So for those of you taking bets at home, it's now 2:30 in the morning. We're at the 123:55 mark in the movie. And I've still not been attacked by anything from this door behind me. I keep expecting whenever I kind of get this way that something's going to rush out and hit me with an axe, and I'll go viral. So, but Mayan is the sis I never had. Yeah, I love me some Mayan. But like I said, by having the system set up this way, I can be like, all right, so now that little intermission has happened. Yeah, this is all dope. This is, like I say, submarine movie stuff. The captain is like coldly sitting there. It's almost like a poker game. Each one has to sit in their chair and be real calm and calculated. And why are you not playing? I paused you. That's why. Oops. So the captain's chair, like like I say, it's like a poker game, but they're also telling the other people to move. And I don't know. There's something about it that's just cool with the way it's presented. I always like it in submarine movies, like in Hunt for Red October or Crimson Tide or something. It's this, you're almost in the dark trying to fight somebody else, and you're like reaching around and figuring out where they are with sonar and radar and stuff, and every weapon at your disposal, like the different people in your crew all provide, different navigations or communications and stuff. It seems like it would be boring and dull. It's just, workplace crap, but it's pretty damn cool. Yeah, they almost run into each other. That was dope. Where are we? It's 3:30 there in Toronto, so you're an hour ahead. Okay, I always wondered, you're up late, man. Binge watching the Three Stooges. I love me some Three Stooges. Three Stooges, like I said before, a lot of old classic black and white stuff I saw in the middle of the night, or the times when I was up way late all the way into the next morning. So like Three Stooges and Little Rascals were like a 5 a.m. thing. Like if I saw them, that meant I'd been up way too late. So yeah, the Three Stooges have a special place in my heart as like the finish line of, you need to take your butt to sleep. So they're what may or may not be Khan's son, Joachim. He dies, and in his final words, he tells him, your intellect is more superior. showing that like he believed in Khan all the way to the end. And then after he dies in his arms, Khan tells him, "I will avenge you." Like this movie's just it's got everything you need. Let's see here. I keep expecting Anthony Perkins to appear behind you with an old lady wig and a knife. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I like the glass partition because you can see the movie over in the reflection, but I think there's a certain amount of suspense that just comes from at any point that this white door could move, and you never know what's going to happen. Somebody might come out of this bathroom. If you make the beast with two backs on a bathroom in the Enterprise, is that the super duper mile honeycomb? Yeah, I guess so. That is a new level. You know what I mean? People everywhere are trying to have sex on a jet. It's like, you ever screw down a space station or a spaceship? Little Rascal Spanky won a Spanky lookalike contest at 3 years old. That's good trivia. I'd put that on my resume. Once again, we do this cool overhead shot. This is all stolen from Star Wars. Basically, George Lucas figured out how to move the camera in a way around the model. Like he figured out how to move the model and the camera at the same time, so it would look extra cool. And after he invented it, everybody everywhere made spaceship movies because they stole that same technique. But prior to that, like all the spaceships in movies would be like, just fly by all crappy. It looks like somebody throws a hubcap at the sky. Yeah, there's Khan with his one glove. Michael Jackson needs to pay Khan some money. Once again, just Khan is kind of like deep in thought, and he has his hands in front of his face, and then he's like looking at the screen, and you're saying, because that's all you need to do when you got a big close up on your face, you know. You don't need to be like, oh no. Yeah, fighting in this cloud system above the Genesis planet's a great idea because it really does make it not look so, desolate with just Starfield behind it or whatever. It gives it pizzazz. And we see the Enterprise get hit with some torpedoes, and some of the crew members die, and it's like real dramatic and sad. And now we see Khan's people getting bombed and torpedoed, and they're all dying. And it's like, yeah, take that, you weird space bikers. Oh, the beast with two backs. I've never heard that expression before. Yeah, Macabre throws that one around pretty frequently. I'd heard it when I was a kid. The beast with two backs. I think it might be Shakespearean, actually. I love Car 54. Where Are You? And The Munsters with Al Lewis and Fred Gwynn. Yeah, I watched The Munsters my whole life. I used to. My Aunt Mary used to babysit me when I was a kid. And I'd come home from school at her house, wait for like an hour or two for my dad would pick me up. And she would always watch Addams Family and Scooby-Doo with me. Like she knew the good stuff. So I'd seen like all the Addams Families just in reruns. And then one time I was away on a basketball trip and we were staying in a hotel, and I woke up and my roommate was watching Nickelodeon or whatever, TV Land. And Car 54, Where Are You? Was on, and I'd never seen that show before in my life. But the idea that there was, Herman Munster and Grandpa Munster as cops, like I was just, am I still asleep? Like what is going on here? So I've only seen a few of those, but I kind of, what is it, Tootie and Muldoon or something? They made some movies, remakes of it in the movie form, but I never watched it. Yeah, I'm still trying to think. This is a trivia question. I have a lot of people who know a lot about movies who watch this show and listen. Can you think of another TV show that became a series of movies? You know what I mean? There was a movie adaptation that used the same cast. Like Star Trek, this is all the people, right? You know what I mean? But normally it's like Charlie's Angels isn't the Farrah Fawcett in them. It's Cameron Diaz in them. Or, Dragnet, the movie, isn't Joe Friday or Jack Webb. It's Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? Like, can you think of another show that became a series of movies, a franchise that used the same cast? I can't think of one. Like that's always like, here's the new Mod Squad, or here's Starsky and Hutch, or whatever. Let's see here. Al Lewis as the Count. Just saw a kids film by my grandfather. Uh, yeah, he was Al Lewis was a late night talk or movie host too, like in the Svengoolie kind of thing. Um, but his were weird. His was one of the first ones that would come out on VHS tapes. Like it would be Grandpa Munster presents or Al Lewis presents. Um, and it would be like the same, shtick, the Joe Bob Briggs, Svengoolie, where you watch the movie and they cut in every now and then. But um, he would, it was Grandpa Munster. It was kind of a novelty. I heard one of the chats. Somebody said that they saw Al Lewis at a mall. Like they went there for an autograph signing, and he was like swearing up a storm. He was basically a Rodney Dangerfield type guy in real life. Caveman says he's very thankful for his 185 subscribers. Don't see me getting 1,000 subscribers for a very long time. Well, it's been a long road for me, and I'm still not to 1,000. I should have been to 1,000. I often take too much time away. Like one of the first things that gets cut in my life when I get busy is YouTube, and especially this middle of the night gig. Like sometimes I have to be up during the daylight hours, which means I have to be sleeping right now, which is a total bummer because I'm not a good person when I'm awake during the day. I'm not happy at all. I'm not pleasant or fun in any way. So here we're coming to the end of the movie. There's we're at the 132 mark. There's 20 left. So Spock somebody has to go into this like nuclear chamber room and adjust it. But if you walk in there, you're going to get radiation poisoning. So Scotty was going to go in there, but he got knocked out from explosions. So Spock goes in there. Actually, I think he put the Vulcan neck patch on him, and so he wouldn't go in there. And instead, Spock goes in there and he shuts it off. And then that's what kills the Spock character, as he dies of radiation poisoning in this plastic tube. And that's why I was saying earlier, he gives this big, like, impassioned monologue, like the way most actors would love to when they're dying in a movie. Like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and you're my best friend of everyone I've encountered. He was the most human. All this stuff that just goes with the dying of Spock and the funeral. It's like heavy duty melodrama, which is one of the other many reasons I love this movie. Khan is awesome every time Khan is on the screen. The presentation of the Enterprise and the Federation in this way instead of the way it was in the first movie is fascinating. And then there's all these different like horror scenes, and the way it all flows and runs together. It's kind of an awesome movie. Although Kirk's son has a sweater over his shoulder. What do you think this is? The mall bub? Clean it up. Let's see here. He says Al Lewis as the Count, and saw before a film called My Grandfather Was a Vampire with Al Lewis. Yeah, like I say, he hosted many of them. I think there's a series of VHSs. And now here's the part where they cut to Khan, and we see him aboard his ship, and his face is like his hair's burned off, and his face is all bloody on this side, and he looks like the villain in the movie Brain Scan. And once again, like I'm saying, this movie just has kind of little bits of everything. Brain Scan takes from this, not the other way around. Oh, I love that. He quotes Moby Dick. He's like, "For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee." And you can tell, like both Kirk or William Shatner and Ricardo Montalban wanted to do this because there are so many heavy-duty acting scenes. You get to. It isn't just usual schlocky space war crap. From hell's heart, I stab at thee. Nice. And then the ship blows up, and it looks just like the Death Star exploding. Which that's kind of de rigueur, or however you say that. Like it's par for the course. That's how you handle that. Our heroes are flying away as the big explosion happens. But then, as I said, this movie wraps up then with the funeral of Spock, which is such a crazy way. You want to send people home happy, but I like how Carol Marcus is wearing Kirk's jacket. Like she's his girlfriend all of a sudden again. Like, here, I got your coat on. Got your Letterman sweater. No, turn this off. And this is just great. They're looking at the Genesis planet, but everyone else is kind of in fascinated by watching this miracle happen before their eyes. And this is the Genesis planet. This is the exploding sun thing. And that's when Kirk realizes that Spock isn't in his chair, and he goes running down to the engineering room. And we get our big dramatic moment. Yeah, I don't think of William Shatner as a good actor, but he kills it in this. Like, I think him as very cartoonish. He's like a cartoonish version of Christopher Walken or something. But here he kills it. Like he gives Shakespearean dialogue. He seems like to emote. You feel his pain. I don't know. Your pain, it runs deep. Share it with me. God holds your fate in his hands, but I control your destiny. Did poor Khan get a funeral after being screwed by Kirk? No, I tells you. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. He doesn't get his love. And I for some reason, I always remember this too. In Spock's dying scene, he's dying of radiation poisoning, but he tries to stand up and he like composes himself and fixes his suit. And he takes a couple steps and then he falls like a drunk. And it's just so painful. Like, I had a pet that passed away one time and he kept trying to like shake it off. And it just thinking about that, I just reminded of it, like, trying to, no, I'm fine. And in this HD transfer, you can see like all the peeling and scarring. Like when they showed Khan earlier and half his face was burnt off and his hair was gone, like he straight up looked gross. Like you could almost see like his eye sockets and stuff. Like I said, he looked like old boy from Brain Scan. Yep, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's one of those lines I always think about because it's the way people live their life. Some people say the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and other people say, you got to look out for number one. You're the only thing that matters. And it's like, no, you're not. And now they bring it back to the beginning where Spock says this is basically the Kobayashi Maru for me, the unwinnable situation. So much like, the way it's shot, the like glass wall separating on the plastic wall, and they're like kind of putting their hands together and stuff. It's all incredibly dramatic and awesome. There's a bunch of like heavy duty reflections in the plastic. I wonder if some of them are crew members or not, like film crew, not Enterprise crew. Oh, there you go. Yeah, because the Enterprise crew is standing behind them, so that could be them. That Nicholas Myer, he solves a lot of problems. He's pretty slick. There he is. He gives him the prison love, and then he's like, "Here, take it. You need it." Let's see here. Sorry, it's hard to get back to the chat with William Shatner sad because his friend just died in front of him. But this is all handled so well. Like, I think the reason I like this Star Trek movie the best is because it's got everything. It's horror, action, melodrama, backstory. It's shot great. It builds a whole world, And then earlier when we saw them load up a torpedo and shoot it off, we became familiar with how things work. So now when they shoot Khan off into, or Spock off into space, like they do it the same torpedo thing. Let's see here. Fave Stooge, Curly or Shemp? I prefer Shemp. I like Curly, but Shemp grew on me as I got older. Curly Joe sucks. Sorry. What came first, Khan or his Corinthian leather, or was reality always a fantasy? Guy, you just blew my mind. Ship ahoy, my friend. Ship okay, my friend? I almost booed out loud when they made poor Leonard Nimoy say that he needed the many quote on that damn Transformers movie. Yeah, I had heard about it. I never saw it. I like that Savick has been, her hair's all up the whole movie, and she's very, only in touch with her Vulcan side. Jesus, I drew a blank there. Within touch with her Vulcan side, but there at the funeral, her hair's down and she's crying and stuff. She's like, she's had a character arc, even though she hasn't had much to do this entire movie except ask her questions. But yeah, Professor, those Transformers movies I have a lot of issues with. In the remake, Kirk cheated the game. Yeah, I believe, isn't that what he did here too? He broke in and reprogrammed it or whatever. He didn't believe in the unwinnable situation. He says there's no such thing. So there they shoot off the torpedo onto the moon, which really is a beautiful way to, like a fireworks show kind of thing. It looks beautiful. It's a nice send-off for Spock. But at the same time, it also does solve the problem of like, well, we're going to send him to a place where life is created. It's like a Saw movie. It all ties together. Wow, Kirk got him a bottle of champagne. So here's David Marcus and Kirk having their little moment. This is actually, I'm against all this. Basically, everything after Khan dying and then burying Spock, the movie should be over. Like, there's an old rule in monster movies. Since I watched King Kong last night, if you'd like to watch King Kong with me, be sure to check out the catalog in my channel at Night Owl Movie Talk on YouTube. But as I was talking about last night with Kong, as soon as he gets killed, the movie's over. It was Beauty that killed the beast, and the credits roll. And that's the best way to handle a monster movie or any sort of big event movie, superhero movies. When you kill the baddie, the movie needs to be over. There shouldn't be all this wasting time after the hero, after the villain has been vanquished. Everything after that is like, should be a fast track to the credits. But here they give like, everybody a chance to talk about how they feel about Spock dying and stuff. It's like some heavy emotional stuff. Khan's dead. Spock's gone. But I think they wanted to they didn't want people to leave on a bummer, which Empire Strikes Back leaves on a bummer, so you should be able to. But I think they wanted to kind of have this funeral thing where everybody sort of says their piece and says something poetic about their friend. But no, I'm not digging it. They should have just shut it down after Spock died. Did Guardians of the Galaxy rip off the Yondu funeral from Wrath of Khan? Maybe. I think that is probably. I think you may have stumbled onto something there, Prof. I forgot about that till just now. The way because they really play up that Yondu funeral. Like even I felt something, and I didn't care about that character until after he died. But the funeral, it was like, whoa. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Exactly, Russell. That's. Like I said, out of all this movie, out of the many things I think of, that line always kind of sticks with me. It's how I govern myself in the world and how you make any decision. What's your political policy? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, whether it's right or not. So then, yeah, it wraps up with Kirk giving his kind of like the way the show did, where he's giving his star log and. They let Carol Marcus just run this place. Like she has a different coat of Kirk's on now. And she's right on the bridge looking at the planet. Like she got front row seats. I feel like David Marcus should have tried to hook up with Savick. You know what I mean? Just, hey girl, what's up with them ears? Let's see here. This could have been the first movie to start the planning of multiple films for a franchise between Khan and the search for Spock being planned in advance. Yeah, I think that they keep trying to capture the magic of this one in every subsequent film. Like I say, in particular with like the one, the Final Frontier, and then whenever they get into the time travel stuff, the Generations movie, the Part 4 movie, I don't dig time travel. It gets on my nerves. So there's the character arc of this movie. Kirk has been the whole time feeling his age. William Shatner did this role when he was like whatever, late 20s, 30s, when he was on the original series. So now he's like 50 or 60 when this comes out. And he's like feeling his age. He needs readers to read. Oh shit, where's my right there? See, he needs the readers to read. And he kind of keeps talking about how he feels old. He doesn't feel like a captain, like a young man who can get out and be in those fights anymore. And then at the end, after all this has happened, Bones asks him, like, how do you feel? And he's like, young. So yeah, they give everybody things to do, like the Avengers movie, And the movie does end like kind of tip you off. When we see his casket on the Genesis planet, like you kind of have an idea that what they're hinting at. Like, we'll be back here, folks. And then cool shots of the sun underneath palm or fern trees. Fade to white. And then they pull back, and this is the best part. Throughout the whole time, Captain Kirk has always done the space final frontier. These are the voyages of the Star Trek Enterprise, right? So they let Spock do it at the end. And so it's like kind of this touching thing as the credits roll and as we peel out to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. And then we kind of like feel like we're zooming in like hyperspace or whatever. So there you go. That's the Wrath of Khan. The you may also like section on Max is everyone you would think. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, Star Trek The Motion Picture, Star Trek The Voyage Home, Star Trek The Final Frontier, Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, Nemesis. Aha, The Hunt for Red October. See, there you go. This is a submarine movie. War Games. I could see how War Games is in, with the computers and all that. Yeah, I could see that. Time Bandits. A little bit because of the bouncing around to places. Superman the movie, no, not at all. Terminator Salvation? I mean, I guess that is about like a crazy future and robot people and all that. Goldfinger, I don't know about that. From Russia with Love. Spaceballs, there you go, Russell. North by Northwest. I don't make that connection. Dune, that's the new one, the 2021 version, so that's pretty easy. For Your Eyes Only? A View to a Kill, Live and Let Die, The Spy Who Loved Me. Why does Bond get associated with Star Trek? Weird. Escape from Alcatraz. I don't get that one. Godzilla, Avatar, Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road, I get. Man of Steel, not really. Matrix Revolutions, Anyways, that was Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, one of my personal faves. Like I say, for a person who doesn't consider himself a Trekkie or a Trekker or a Trekster or whatever they are, I always dig it. Ricardo Montalban is cool as cool. He's, maybe one of the baddest bad guys in all of moviedom. Like, I like hanging out with him. This is probably Captain Kirk or William Shatner's best performance as Captain Kirk. He's pretty good as TJ Hooker. But yeah, I feel like this is almost a standalone film. Like, you can just watch Star Trek 2 and forget every other Star Trek movie ever made, and this is all you need. It kind of, it's a submarine movie, like I say. And I thank you for hanging out with me. Oh, actually, I got a couple more people popping in here. My love of boobies outweigh the needs of the few. That's a perfect way for Macabre to tap out. Is Spock Space Jesus? Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless and God willing, I'll be with next time. Great stream, Big Don. Thank you, Russell. I always appreciate your contributions, my friend. Russell prefers the bush. You guys, you always take advantage of the late night audience. Speaking of crutches, time travel seems to be the answer for all things, like multiple said, because I do enjoy time travel movies. Yeah, I like the goofy butterfly effect planning of time travel movies, but I don't like our main character's girlfriend died, we'll just go back in time and save her. Like, I hate that shit. Russell says he loves Time Bandits. I bet he does. Take care, everyone. Nighty night. Good night, Professor. Thanks for being here, buddy. I always like it when you're here. You contribute a lot. You're a fun guy. So you're a mushroom. You're a fun guy. So that will wrap it up for me, even tonight's movie. I thank you for once again joining me. I wish all of you love, peace, and green grass and high tides forever. Take care, my friends.